big blockbuster move turn out?
Nothing yet, Ian. Nothing yet.
So what was the tenor of the meeting with players this morning?
This is the best time of year, so it's always very upbeat and optimistic. Chance to get the group together for the first time. Alex Cora, I thought, delivered an incredible message. He talked about his mom and her 85th birthday and sort of the lessons learned from her in his life and how they can be applied to what we're trying to achieve here in Boston. It was pretty powerful. And Brez talked about his experiences as a player and now being in the front office and trying to be accountable to each other. And then Tech was our closer and talked about how important the privilege of putting on a Red Sox uniform is and playing for what's on the front of the uniform versus what's on the back. So great morning, I think especially for the new guys.
Did you speak to the team?
For about 4.5 seconds. Just wanted to welcome everybody and delivered a message that at the end of the day, all the people that work for the Boston Red Sox all of us are here literally because we have a passion for the game. And we always feel that it's an honor and a privilege to be a part of the organization. That never gets old, 24 years in. And our job in the front office, in ownership, in management, is to support the players. That is the end-all, be-all for us, is to support that group. And everything we do, what we do each and every day may not make sense to the players in terms of the business of the organization or the community outreach or the marketing or everything we're working on is designed to support the players, to put them in a position to get us back to October and be competitive, because that's what really matters.
Did John speak to the team?
Xander Henry said a couple words.
What were his words?
Win the series.
Earlier in the offseason, you had said that the team was, willing to go over sort of the 41 luxury tax threshold, and I think with Bregman, you were either right around there or above. Are you comfortable staying above and dealing with the penalties this year? Or do you anticipate trying to make some moves to get under it? How do you approach that?
Yeah, so the CBT has always been a guidepost. It's like one marker that we have to pay attention to, but it's never been a firm number that we either have to stay below or get over for certain reasons. We have to factor in those penalties when we do go over. We are currently over, and I would anticipate us being over in 2025. And again, there's just been, in our time, since the competitive balance tax was negotiated as part of the CBA, there's been years when we've been over and years when we've been under, and I think I've been consistent about saying that there are years where we will be over and years where we will be under. So this year I anticipate being over.
Is this the highest payroll in team history?
We're not done yet, so I don't know. I can get that for you, Dan, in terms of like where our high water mark has been. But there's definitely been a larger investment this year than in the last couple of years.
Is it easier to be over this year with only a year left in the current CBA, where presumably there'll be some reset and new guideposts in place by that?
We haven't contemplated the CBT in that context, like what may or may not happen going beyond 2026. We've really been focused on the build of the organization and adding complementary pieces to get back to the postseason. That's been a focus now for the last couple of years, and we're hopeful that we're going to get back to the postseason.
So with in-season transactions and all that, are you willing to go over the second threshold?
The short answer is I think we're willing to do what it takes to get back to the postseason. We don't look at the CBT threshold or the second or third levels as an inhibitor or a barrier that we just have to absolutely avoid. What we do look at is what moves are we going to make to ensure competitiveness in the near term and the long term. And again, those words are hollow when you haven't had success. Like the last couple of years, we haven't had success, and we know that. That's on us, 100% on us. So we do have flexibility, and but we like where we are right now.
What did you think of John's cigar photo the other night?
I thought it was representative of an owner who, if nothing else, has a great sense of humor. For those of you who know John and Linda, I don't think they ever take themselves too seriously, which is kind of a cool thing in professional sports team ownership. And I could tell you that Alex Bregman liked it. He really liked it.
So I asked you a version of this yesterday, but you said it'll come down to winning games, not winning the offseason. But when you see that, when you see kind of the vibes around camp right now, like, is it a moment for you guys to puff out your chest and say,
No.
hey, look, we spent
No.
games?
No.
In the court of public opinion. You
No.
know what the narrative has been for so long.
No, it is not a moment for us to puff out our chest at all. It's a moment to keep doing the things that we need to do to get the Red Sox back to the postseason. Like, I meant what I said. We have not accomplished anything yet. Anything. So definitely not a moment to puff out our chest.
Forrest said yesterday that he sensed a different tone from ownership when he talked to him in the offseason. Do you understand why he said that?
Probably because we were more engaged with Scott than we have been in a long time, given the personnel that he represents or represented this offseason. So there was a lot of travel to see Scott and see his clients, a lot of meetings, a lot of conversations. So it probably grew out of that.
You said we're not done yet. You anticipate having more moves coming in?
No, I don't want to say we're not done yet. There's more coming or promise anything. No. I just want to say we're where we are. I just know we're not. You're really not done until the trade deadline. I mean, that's something that we have to be mindful of because unfortunately injuries are a big part of baseball in this in the era that we're in. And so the roster construction continues as you go throughout April, May, June, and July. So we'll see if there's any sort of late additions here in spring training. We have flexibility if there's the right transaction to be contemplated. But again, we like where we are right now. And we'll just keep an open mind for any opportunities that could be additive.
Obviously been a big investment in Rafael Devers. I mean, when you kind of acquire a position, a guy who potentially plays the same position, how kind of delicately does the team have to sort of handle that situation with him to make sure it gets handled?
Yeah. Rafi Devers is the only player in that room that has a World Series ring from 2018, as far as I know, and he's at the center of everything we're building here, and he wants to win. I mean, I know that he wants to win. So we're all every one of us is gonna play our small part in contributing to that goal and that effort.
Sam, when you talked about all the travel, all the negotiations with Scott, high-level players engaging in that market, you have the big press conference here yesterday. At least do you take satisfaction in feeling like the Red Sox are the Red Sox again and like having those kind of landmark moments that you're playing at the top end of that market?
Well, yesterday was a great day for the Red Sox because somehow we got Scott Boras to put on a Red Sox hat. That was unique. Chris, I I don't think the Red Sox have ever stopped being the Red Sox. I mean, our fans have never stopped supporting us. What makes it so great here is that the entire fan base wants action in the off season. The hot stove season is as intense as in season. So it's been a difficult couple years since the fall of 2021. And we take that responsibility very seriously. We have not delivered in 22, 23, and 24. And so we feel that viscerally. And hopefully we're going to get back to where we're going. But like I said, we haven't accomplished anything.
You just said Rafi's at the center of things, it's close. But the question was, how delicately do you have to handle the situation at third base? So maybe repose the question.
Yeah, so I think one of the things that makes Craig Breslow the exact right chief baseball officer for the Red Sox is his experience as a player and being sensitive to those types of issues. There's no better communicator in uniform as a manager in baseball than Alex Cora. So they will handle roster decisions, position decisions, and they'll handle those discussions. I was just reacting to the question about Rafi. I was struck this morning. You're sitting right there in the front row, sort of nodding along and remembering what it was like in 2018 as Alex was talking about winning a championship in Boston. So, but yeah, those discussions will be handled internally by Brez and Alex.
Was that enticing to have a guy like Alex who's willing to show flexibility when it comes to positions? I mean, that had to have been in your thought process.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Bregman has made it clear, like, he chose Boston. He had other opportunities. He chose Boston because he wants to get back to the postseason again in his career. I think he's been eight years in a row. He's a winning ball player. I think our fans are gonna love what he represents. But make no mistake, we did everything in our power that we thought was responsible to bring him here, but he chose us, and that's a great thing.
And from a front office structure perspective, it's still, Brez does not have a GM. From your point of view, obviously there's a ton of restructuring with the different pillars and stuff. Do you anticipate more changes or a number two being promoted? And what have you just thought of the way he's made some big moves kind of behind the scenes since the fall?
Yeah, I sort of laugh at the structure of baseball operations. I've been in baseball since 1993, and I think we've come up with lots of fancy titles, lots of different ways to retain talent and structure things. In my simple mind, there's one final decision maker in baseball operations, and that's Craig Breslow, full stop. How he supports himself with his staff and the team and titles and structure is up to him. But from John's perspective, my perspective, Tom, Mike Gordon, the people in ownership who are involved with baseball look to Craig Breslow as the final decision maker. And what he decides to do with the structure underneath him is up to him. And titles are great, but he's the decision maker.
And you've talked in the past about wanting to bring the All-Star game back to Fenway. Is that now, is the timing of that have to coincide with the real estate development?
No, it's a live issue. Commissioner Manfred and his team know that we'd love to bring the game back. It will have been 30 years in 2029. So hopefully there's an opportunity between now and then, and we'll keep advocating for it. And Chris Cotillo will keep advocating.
Were you there in '99?
I was there in Section 4 in 1999. With thanks to Larry Kanker. I was near the auxiliary press box. Yes, it's also where I was in 1986.
So it's not sort of contingent on the other players that you guys have in your neighborhood?
No, not contingent at all upon any building or real estate. I know Mayor Wu and her administration have been very supportive of us bringing major events to Boston, including the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, something we would really like to have happen. But a lot of markets want to have it as well, so it's competitive.
And obviously there's the fan side during the off-season moves, but there's also a business side. Have you sensed a different vibe with some of your business partners? The energy the Red Sox have shown trying to make moves and do things?
Definitely. I mean, thanks to our media beat, which is the lens which all of us in New England grew up getting to know the Red Sox, and you follow along with the beat. There's been an enthusiasm and excitement around this offseason, which is reflective in the fan base and interest in the team. But I'll tell you, the last couple years have been extraordinary when we've had a 500 team or worse, and our fans are there night in and night out is great. But we have seen a spike the last couple of days.
Sam, along those lines, though, you mentioned the fan interest and the payroll the past few years, but I think even you have said there haven't been as many sellouts as previous years, and obviously that has a lot to do with the team. But the signing was part of signing Bregman and kind of going more all in this year, in effort to give the fans something to kind of come back to.
I think what our fans care about more than anything at the end of the day is a team that wins the division or wins a wild card and goes deep in the postseason. We've had, in 24 years, we've seen different Red Sox teams that have been constructed in different ways. Some with sort of like low-key off seasons that have gotten to the postseason, some big splashy signings in the off season that has got us there. At the end of the day, the moves that we make in baseball operations are made to that goal, not with a goal of selling tickets or driving the business, the tickets and the business. All of that happens when you have a competitive team and a team that's winning. So that's the number one goal of what we do in baseball operations. Yes, bringing in winning championship caliber, Hall of Fame caliber players is a contributing factor to that. But the goal and the focus is, all right, how are we going to win 90 plus, 95 games, get into the postseason, and be competitive?
Recognizing that there were reasons that you guys wanted to stay under the luxury tax for a few years and were focusing on farm system and those kinds of things, does it kind of, feel better does it feel kind of like things are right in the world when you're able to come here and say something a little bit different to us this year? We ask you every year, do you think you're going to go for the tax? Do you think that you guys are a postseason team? And this year, everyone's answers are different than they've been for a few years. And already, even though you haven't accomplished anything, does it feel good to be able to give us different answers to the questions? Kind of like, fresh start?
It's just a privilege to be in a position to even answer questions at all about the Boston Red Sox, and the goal is to get back where we belong. I mean, I think whether it was last year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, going back 22 years, this is my 24th year. Like, it's so personal, and we feel it. We feel that responsibility viscerally to do everything we can. And if there's excitement in Red Sox Nation over who's come in, that's great. But we just have a long way to go this year. We need good health. We need performance. We need focus. Alex Cora talked this morning about being precise, being disciplined. It's old baseball cliche, day to day. We just got a lot of work to do, and none of us want to waste this opportunity that we all cherish, which is being affiliated with this organization.
How are you year over year ticket sales?
We've sold 1.4 million tickets, and sort of right where we were last year at this time.
Expect to bump up this signing?
There's been a spike the last couple of years. There is a big change in the sports industry and the live events business, the music business, where because of technology, tickets are purchased later than they used to be in the past. So it's sort of hard to know where you're going to end up. I think this team needs to prove itself. We need to get off to a good start to really get people excited. We've had an exciting offseason with the additions, but we need to get off to a good start.
Getting good feedback for the time of game switch.
We have moving games up a little bit earlier in April and May. Just trying to be responsive to our fans. It's not really what time the game starts; it's what time you get home, and trying to get in and out of Fenway and get home, especially when school is still in session. Getting people back home a little bit earlier. We think that's a good thing. We'll see how it goes.
There were a number of teams that did that this year. Is that coincidence, or is that something the league had talked about?
We've talked about it at the league level. I'd say sort of everything's on the table in a post-COVID world where we had to experiment a lot and try different things. And I'm all for new and different ideas in baseball. We saw the results of the rule changes and how effective that has been in terms of fan interest and help the sport. So trying new and different things, I think, is great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.